What's up, YouTube? Freaks and Geeks, aka NoahC, back at it again today for another video for y'all. And today we're going to be talking about the Berserker class. Now, the Berserker is an assassin on the Viking side that wields 2 tomahawks. And basically what I want to do today, I want to talk about how do you guys feel about the Berserker. I want to know exactly what are your thoughts, and do you think the Berserker needs a little balance change, etc, etc. Because I wanted to ask you guys today, for the people who play on PC who watch my videos, if any of you actually do, I wanted to ask you, is the Berserker strong on PC? I know that 400 milliseconds in any fighting game is pretty fast. So I wanted to know if the actual 400 milliseconds of an attack within a Berserker, when it comes to feints and delays, etc., does that make a Berserker a viable character in a 1v1 setting? Not even just 1v1, maybe in a 2v2 or 4v4 setting as well. But let's get on with the video. So I started playing the Berserker class a few days back in like season 4 or 5, I can't really remember. And I think it was season 4 because it was the old Berserker. The reason why I did it was because Berserker wasn't the broken assassin at the time. Now, after Berserker got a rework, I picked the Berserker up again. I really wanted to make this video for you guys to ask you guys exactly, like, is the Berserker too much? Now, I personally am not the best Berserker. I don't even want to ever claim to be. But as I was playing the Berserker, there was a point to where I started to realize that the Berserker is mad easy. Easier to the point to where I didn't really understand, you know, how much of the advantage I had from the start until I just started hitting R1 and just throwing out R2s. Rarely was I ever parried as a Berserker. And then I started to ask myself why. And then I took it back to when I'm actually fighting Berserkers, and I barely parry Berserkers. And I think it's because of the mix-up between R1 and R2 with the Berserker. Because Berserker has 400 millisecond side lights. These side lights in particular have what makes people respect you. It makes them be able to say, okay, I can't just parry anything willy-nilly. And it's kind of an Aramusha effect, to where you have to be able to, like, more or less say, okay, if I'm going to go for a light, I have to make sure that it's a light and not a heavy, or I'm going to get punished severely. So with that being said, I just started hitting R1, R2, then I started trying to learn how to do the feints. And then when I got into the feints, I started realizing that people can't react to these, just like I can. I mean, I guess most of the time when it comes to Berserkers and their light feints, usually if they feint off one side, they go to the other. But then I realized you can actually feint it on the same side, which again, that alone is a true mix-up. It's a mix-up because you're safe by and protected by the hyper armor, and it's a 400 millisecond attack that if you can even delay it, so there's no way that anyone's gonna even parry you off that unless they make a extremely hard read. I mean, it has to even be preemptive because of the fact that just how fast the lights shoot out. Now, when it comes to deflecting as a Berserker, I feel like they should have kept it the same. I know exactly why they made the deflect the way they did, considering the fact that Berserker has a lot of options once you deflect somebody. You get the guard break, which, you know, the guard break opens you up to either the heavy attack, or it opens you up to the actual, you know, if you're out of stamina, you can knock them down on the ground and you can kind of have your way with them, go for the max punish, etc, etc. So they wanted to make it more manual, so that way people will actually have to get good and not be brain dead when it comes to deflecting. But considering deflecting is a skill-based mechanic in the entire game, I don't think they should have actually changed it the way they did. So, but that's just my opinion on it anyway. And I guess the next thing I wanted to really discuss was the fact that now old Berserker versus new Berserker. Old Berserker was arguably not that much different from this Berserker, because of the fact that, again, all of this is just R1, R2, but at the same time, now there's hyper armor. So because there's hyper armor involved with this hyper armor in particular just kind of, you know, it grants you so much in the sense that you don't have to worry about anything. If I didn't particularly know how to start up the hyper armor all that well, and I'm actually still a little iffy on it, And because of that, I said, okay, if I figure out how to get the hyper armor to actually start up, then there's no reason for me to even like worry about what attacks they're throwing out, because I think the Berserker has a maybe 125, 130 health. I don't know if it's 120. I don't know if all assassins are capped out at that actual 120 health, like how majority of them are. But I digress. So the hyper armor, yes, like you can trade with people. Plus, Berserker's side heavy damage is really good. I think it's like at 35 or 34, 33 or something like that. And top heavy is like 38. So that in particular right there lets you know that this trading character, coupled with the fact that you can mix it up between lights or heavies, it gives you so much of an advantage from neutral, which, you know, I guess it's not bad, and not that it's saying it's not fair, but at the same time, other characters have such a hard time being able to hit a Berserker out of hyper armor because they don't actually have the attacks to be able to stop the chain. Now, again, it does go off of skill, because a heavy from a Berserker is relatively easy to parry, and it's not something that you can't just not actually react to. Granted, you probably block more Berserker heavies than you do Berserker lights. So with that being said, it just kind of puts you in the sense that maybe I just need to take a chance. And I think that's really all it is about the Berserker, or even facing up the Berserker anyway, is taking chances when it comes to actually, you know, wanting to parry or actually wanting to punish. Now, if you are a scared opponent and you're playing timid and you're playing it defensively, the Berserker at some point is going to open you up. Just like in any fighting game, it is impossible to block forever. For Honor is actually one of those only games that if you have the reactions enough to where you can actually block forever, but at the same time, you have to understand, on console anyway, these attacks come out faster than what they normally would. So because of that fact, Berserker on console is probably one of the strongest characters right now. I wouldn't say the strongest, but definitely one of the strongest characters. There are a lot of memes on the internet about the Berserker class saying that, you know, Berserker is autopilot on For Honor. I don't think so. I don't think the Berserker is autopilot on For Honor. I think the Berserker you still have to have a certain type of skill in order for you to actually make the Berserker shine good, or just be rather just annoying. Because any good assassin player that plays with, you know, the assassins, they are annoying, because I guess that's how they're designed to be. They're designed to be characters that, you know, make people get frustrated at the fact that they're getting hit by this, you know, small attack, where I had to commit to something as a big character that's basically really reactable. Now, I wanted to also talk about just the fact that how does Berserker measure up against the other assassins. Now, just like in my Gladiator video, I had to understand where the Berserker is as far as placement on the actual assassin chart, and I don't know if Berserker beats PK. Maybe that is a actual matchup that Berserker wins. Reason being is because of the fact that Berserker has hyper armor, so the PK, you know, basically can't hit him out of anything except with the zone attack. So with that being said, that lets you know that if the Berserker can actually challenge a PK versus the other assassins, the Berserker will probably like win. Maybe probably not against a Shinobi, because the Shinobi can actually, you know, play, you know, keep away with the Berserker, and you have to have a certain type of range in order for you to actually catch him. But more or less, I think with that being said, Berserker is probably at the top chart right now. But why isn't Berserker used in a 4v4 fashion? And I think it's because of a lot of her dashing attacks, the ones that you have to be able to commit to. I say that because, like, her running heavy attack is arguably one of the most reactable attacks in the game. It's almost like Warlord's little running heavy attack as well, where you just leap into the air and you go from there. But PK's is faster, and PK's does more damage and causes bleed, whereas bleed in the 4v4 meta is actually more viable than anything, especially if you have a team composition that centers around the actual bleed. So Berserker in particular, I think there's a place there, but it has to be centered around a very, very well designed team comp, and the Berserker has to have an actual plan of action. Whereas PK, Shaman can pretty much do whatever they want with the right person holding them off. So But yeah, that about wraps it up for this video. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts on the Berserker and what you guys think should be changed. I personally, as I started playing the Berserker, I got better with the Berserker than when I first started. Again, I realized that the Berserker is just one of those classes that is it's really strong if you just let things fly. But again, against people that actually know how to block and against people that actually know how to parry, then she still gets shut down because she doesn't have those things that you know, a shaman has, or you know, let's say a warlord has, or blockables, things that make people actually do things. Granted, Berserker does have a top unblockable, but again, that's just only a 50-50 in itself, and you either have to let it go, cancel it for a guard break, and that's pretty much about it. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here for today. This has been Freaks and Geeks, aka NoahC, signing out. And if you're new here, please like and subscribe. Thank you all for coming out here today. God bless you all. Peace.